Dari, hello. It's been a long and exercise-filled Thursday. I just thought I'd run through the action-packed activities of Thursday. The first comical thing to note was that we're staying at Camping Vidy, by the way, in the motorhome. We're having a lovely time here. The first thing that I would note is that very early on Thursday morning, I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a strange pattering sound on the roof. It wasn't a cat, unfortunately. What it was rain. Can you believe it? Now, the joke that I always tell people in England is that in Lausanne, the actual annual rainfall is quite high, but it's so arranged, and I'm absolutely not kidding about this, that it normally rains during the night and it's dry during the day, which is kind of a perfect combination. So I wasn't absolutely perturbed about the rain at four in the morning, although it did wake me up. It was a slight patter, that's all. But it did continue to about 7 or 8 in the morning. I was a little bit concerned. I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to actually rain during the actual waking hours. But sure enough, by about 8 or 9 o'clock, the rain had stopped. So true to form, Lausanne was listening to us and had conveniently stopped the rain. So our planned cycle in the mountains or around Lausanne and up to Chatel St Denis, for example, was not cancelled. So we met up with old friends and we set off in a little posse to go up the Corniche, which is just a stunningly beautiful view, and then on to Chatel St Denis. By the time we got to Chatel, Kathy had turned around because she had some clients to teach later on that morning, leaving the rest of us to get to Chatel St Denis, where we stopped for coffee. Now, we stopped at a cafe, and it's a traditional Swiss kind of mountain town cafe. Firstly, quite expensive. Secondly, the cups of coffee were absolutely minute. I mean, I was laughing when a guy said, I ordered the large size of coffee because it was the size of, not a thimble exactly, but it was certainly tiny. And secondly, I had to settle for either a black coffee or cow's milk because asking for soya in such a place it was wet by a large amount of laughter. So I had a tiny drop of cow's milk, and I think that coffee propelled me for the next 40 or so kilometres. We had an absolutely beautiful ride. It was kind of more or less our standard 50k ride. And when my partner was working and I had it stopped in Lausanne, I used to cheekily do that ride every other day, let's say. I used to finish dropping off my partner to work, which was quite a long walk, and then, if I felt up to it, I would go and do this 50k cycle, and we sort of repeated it. And the roads are so smooth. I mean, the confident, first of all, smooth means to say that your bicycle is not continually vibrated up and down, which means to say you can have the tyres much harder, and it's a much more efficient contact point between the tyres and the roads. The rolling resistance is much lower. Secondly, the roads are smooth, so it means to say there's no debris on the roads, there's no potholes, which means to say that on some of the large downward descents, you can go way past 50 kilometres an hour. There's one place where, comically, we always used to go down above 50, and there's a point where it says 60 is the limit, and you used to think, oh, can I just get to the 60 limit kilometres and per hour, and you normally could just about get there. And again, it's done in total safety because the roads are so immaculately prepared. The surface is smooth. The sound is lower consequently. So anyway, I'm gushing about the roads as usual, but it was well worth our time for the cycle. We all had a wonderful time. So the next thing was we had to make an important stop at Migro to get some cat food. Now, it's well known that I used to support the Lausanne cats, and there were some cats at the Vidy Camping, and I felt greatly ashamed I wasn't able to assist with their feeding. So we had to stop at Migro, and I had to spot around in my cycling shoes to get the cat food, which I did eventually. And then went home and fed a few cats. So that was very successful. So later on today, on Thursday, we also hadn't made previously plans to meet one of our very busy friends, and we swam in the lake. Now the lake was super choppy. When I mean choppy, I mean it was so choppy. I think the red lifeguard signs were out. So at the paid swimming pool next to the freebie locker area and showers by the lake, it was a no swim, and I think the pool was basically, the lifeguards would have taken it as, you're in trouble if they'd seen you swimming there. But on the freebie public side, anyone can enter the lake. We did enter the lake. We were determined to do our duty and swim in the lake. It was super choppy. Now Agatha is, I know she won't accept this, but I would say she's at least as fast a swimmer as I. But on this choppy course, she was a little bit lagging, just a fraction, and that's because I think it was like one of those films where that you're on a boat and it's capsizing in heavy seas and you're thinking, oh, we're not going to last very long. There's buoys which demarcate the paid swimming area from out past which is the main part of the lake, and we actually swam on the inside of those buoys. I thought to myself, oh well, if we got washed out towards the lake, we'd be able to grab onto the chains and the buoys. That was my kind of weak excuse. Anyway, we managed a decent swim in difficult conditions. We all finished successfully, and then it was back to the lovely Vidy Camping, where, although it was almost 8 o'clock in the evening, we managed to check out. So the checkout, I think, is at the manned desk runs to about 9 p.m. And we checked out. So we paid after the effect that you do a booking. We did a booking via email. There's no online system because that would be too advanced. So we did a booking previous to coming to Lausanne by email, and they just sent an email back saying, yep, okay. When we got here, we did notice that the main part of the campsite was really jam-packed, and that's jam-packed with people who have like a permanent pitch there, and people who are just visiting. Now, I did ask the lovely reception lady, and she said that the cost of a 1-month pitch is 541 francs. I believe that includes taxes, and that once you get a permanent pitch kind of thing, no one ever gives it up. So the motorhome next to us, which was a pretty expensive motorhome, it looked like it had winter wheel covers and had been left as though it had been in the winter. So I'm guessing that motorhome isn't used almost all year. So they're paying their sort of 6,000 francs a year just to keep it as a sort of car parking space, I'm guessing. That would be my guess. But she said once people get these pitches, they're so sought after, they never give them up. So I did inquire, if we were here for a month or so, could we get a pitch? She said yes, you probably could, but you wouldn't get one bang close to all the facilities like we happen to look on for our this week or so here. So yeah, bear in mind, if you did get a contract back in Lausanne, I mean, 500 or so francs a month is just nothing to pay for such a pitch. So that's to bear in mind. So after we checked out, we finally had a dinner at home. Now we haven't had a dinner at the motorhome because we've been so busy going out to see people. But this Thursday we did manage a lovely dinner at home. Of course, it was lentils. So after that, we had an early night because Friday was going to be a very busy morning, and we had to get up. We were planning to get up at something like 5 something, so we could check out and get to our next engagement. Okay, Dari, that's our Thursday. Speak to you later.